It is May 4th, 2024, and this is Sports Chowder with me, Sam Stebbins. Today I'm talking the Celtics advancing to the second round of the playoffs, the Bruins being forced into a Game 7 with Toronto, the full Patriots draft class, and more. Guys, I am in a great mood right now. I have a brand new office chair that I am using at my desk, and it feels so much better than the wooden chair I've been using for years. Okay, it's not a brand new office chair. I found it in the dumpster area of my apartment complex, but it was perfectly clean. It was clearly set there as if to say, hey, if you want this, take it. If not, the trash people will take it away, but I got it before anyone else got it, and frankly, it's perfectly functional, it's perfectly clean, and it's great. I'm in a good mood. I saved a lot of money. I needed to buy an office chair, but I found this one for free. So I'm in a good mood because of that. I'm going to start with the best news, which is that on Wednesday night, the Celtics beat the Miami Heat 118-84 and advanced to the second round of the NBA playoffs. Now, the Celtics will play either the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Orlando Magic in the next round. I'm fine with either. They're about evenly matched in terms of success. I think it'll be about the same kind of challenge for Boston either way. Now, I record this show on Friday and release it on Saturday. And tonight, Cleveland and Orlando play. If Cleveland wins, we will be playing them. If Orlando wins, there will be one more game in that series. So right now I don't know, and tomorrow we might know, we might not know. So I'm just going to say I'm fine with either, and we'll wait and see on that. Now back to the series with the Heat. With the exception of Game 2, this all looked pretty easy for our guys. We had a 20-point win in Games 1 and 3, a 14-point win in Game 4, and a whopping 34-point win in Game 5. Of course, Miami was without their best player, small forward Jimmy Butler. However, he did talk some crap on social media, and now he looks really bad. And now, I like Jimmy Butler. I think he's talented. I think he's funny, but you should not be talking smack if you can't go on the court and back it up. It's one thing to feel confident in your teammates, to express confidence in your team even when you're injured. It's a whole other thing to make fun of another team and have no way of proving you're really better than them. So for that reason, I'm also glad that Miami lost. And honestly, even if Jimmy Butler was healthy, I think Boston would win in 6 or 7 games. I say that because this year we are better than Miami. It's that simple. What made the Celtics' dominant win in Game 5 even more impressive is that we did it without our starting power forward Kristaps Porzingis. He suffered a right soleus strain during Game 4, and sadly he will miss several games of the playoffs. Now, of course, this is very unfortunate and it's not ideal. He is a key contributor in our starting 5. However, the Celtics are 22-4 without him this year. I don't say this to put down Porzingis. Obviously, he's been a very strong contributor to our team this year. He's one of the reasons we've had such a great season. I say this because it reflects positively on the Celtics as an organization, as a team. It shows our guys can adapt. They can adjust when someone is injured. By winning Game 5 so handily without one of our starters, we showed the rest of the NBA we are a team to be feared. I hope Porzingis heals up as soon as possible. I will say, in this next series against Cleveland or Orlando, if he has to miss the first couple of games, it will be kind of nice to unleash him mid-series, It'll be almost like a sneak attack, like, oh, you thought you had us figured out, but now here's Porzingis. Deal with that. So, regardless of this injury, I look forward to the rest of this playoff run, and I'm glad he's only out a few games and not the rest of the postseason. Now, another development to come out of the NBA playoffs this past week is that LeBron and the Lakers were eliminated by the Denver Nuggets in Game 5. Now, it's not that surprising. The Nuggets are a much better team than the Lakers, but the Lakers did manage to avoid the sweep. So that's a good thing for Lakers fans, I guess. Now, one of my big predictions recently was that LeBron would play one more season with his son on whichever team either drafted LeBron James Jr. or signed him to a contract. However, there are now reports that LeBron is no longer prioritizing playing with his son. Now, after the Lakers were eliminated from the playoffs, LeBron tweeted that no decision about his future has been made, and that he plans to talk with his family, his friends, and his agents and such about what he should do next. Now, I'm thinking he might actually retire. He is going to turn 40 this November, and he might be ready just to step away from playing. He might be deciding between retiring altogether now or going to a team that gives him the best chance at winning one more championship. I feel like unless the Lakers make a really big push to acquire some free agents who will help out the team, LeBron will end up somehow leaving LA in the offseason. Whether that's in retirement or to a new team, that remains to be seen. So overall, all of this LeBron James drama is very interesting. Obviously, he's one of the biggest NBA stars of all time, and he's nearing the end of his career, so whatever choice he makes will be monumental. So I will definitely be keeping up with this, and I'll be very interested to see what happens. Now, moving on to the Bruins. On Thursday night, they lost 2-1 to Toronto, and that forced a Game 7, which will be tonight at 7 p.m. Now, I have been watching all of these Bruins playoff games, and something has been really off with our offense the past 2 games. Now, I have some optimism that we can win Game 7. It will be a home game. They'll be in Boston, so that's an advantage right there. But I'm having flashbacks to the playoff run last year. Last season, the Bruins set the record for most wins by an NHL team in history. And then they were eliminated in the first round by the Florida Panthers after being up 3-1 in the first round series. I really don't want that to happen again. If it does, I think Bruins ownership needs to take a look at Jim Montgomery, our head coach. To have this happen possibly twice in a row reflects very poorly on him. But again, we don't know yet. The game is tonight. I hope they win. And again, like I said, I don't know a ton about hockey, but when it's the playoffs, my passion is back. So I'm going to be optimistic, but I'm also going to be honest no matter what happens. Moving on to the Patriots, let's take a look at their entire 2024 draft class. Now, of course, first of all, in the first round at pick number 3, they chose North Carolina quarterback Drake May. I've talked about that so much, I think it's great. I'm really excited. In the second round, 37th overall, they chose Washington wide receiver Jalen Polk. Obviously a good pick. We need more weapons on offense. It'll be great to have a wide receiver who can grow with Drake May. And then third round, 68th overall, offensive tackle Caden Wallace out of Pennsylvania State. In the fourth round, 103rd overall, guard Layden Robinson out of Texas A&M. The fourth round, 110th overall, wide receiver Javon Baker out of the University of Central Florida. In the sixth round, 180th overall pick, we selected cornerback Marcellus Dial out of South Carolina. Also in the sixth round, at 193 overall, we chose quarterback Joe Milton III out of Tennessee. Finally, in the seventh round, 231 overall, we chose defensive back Jaheim Bell out of Florida State. Now, I have to say I give this class an A-. Overall, really good picks. It makes me feel very confident about de facto general manager Elliott Wolf. I think the one thing I'm curious about is Joe Milton III. I wonder if the plan is for him to be backup or third string, or possibly play tight end or wide receiver. I mean, Julian Edelman was a quarterback in college who obviously played wide receiver once he was drafted by the Patriots. So I'd be all for that kind of thing. I'd even be for him being the third string quarterback, but right now we have 4 quarterbacks on our roster, and obviously that's not worth it. We need to get rid of one of them or 2 of them. We have obviously Drake May, we have Jacoby Brissett, Bailey Zappi, and now Joe Milton. We don't need 4 quarterbacks, we need 3 at the most, so I hope they have a creative idea for Joe Milton. Another note I have is that we only drafted 2 defensive players, but for the most part I'm fine with that. I mean, our defense was solid last year. It was actually quite good in many ways, so we focused on what we had to improve, so I think that's all right. It's just one thing of note. Overall, a really exciting and fun draft. I feel like we're really committing to Drake May, committing to building around him, getting him some targets, stuff like that. And I've been coaching myself to be optimistic about this new Patriots regime, and I feel like I finally have some solid evidence of positive momentum happening with this organization. Now, the 2024 NFL schedule will drop this coming Thursday, and it'll be a nice preview of what to expect next season. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I'll know exactly what our record will be or anything like that. There are too many untested factors with this team. But again, it'll be very interesting to preview what is ahead and consider the possible highs that this team can reach. Now, another move the Patriots made this week was they signed defensive tackle Christian Barmore to a 4-year, $92 million contract. And last season he had a career best year with 64 tackles, 8.5 sacks, 6 passes defended, and a forced fumble. Now, I think this is a great move. He is a cornerstone of our defense, and I think it's really important to invest in what works and invest in leaders. Especially on defense, because our offense needs to be rebuilt in so many ways, but our defense worked for the most part last year. And without Bill Belichick's defensive mind around, we have to keep our key players on defense. It's crucial to maintaining that success. This is another example of why I think Elliott Wolf is actually doing a good job. There were a lot of rumors about choices the Patriots might make in the free agency market and during the draft, but none of those negative rumors have come to pass, so I'm feeling better and better about the front office in New England. And I hope things keep moving in this direction. Now, one Patriots free agent we did not re-sign is running back Ezekiel Elliott. This week he signed a 1-year deal worth up to $3 million with the Dallas Cowboys, the team he played with before signing with the Patriots for 1 year. I think the best way to describe how I feel about this is mild disappointment. I liked him. He provided a couple of offensive highlights during a season when that was few and far between. But he wasn't like a huge part of our offense. He wasn't enough to make a huge difference in our offensive production. I would have been happy if he came back to New England for one more season. And at the end of last season, he seemed somewhat interested in re-signing. But I guess things changed and Dallas made an offer that was intriguing to him. Regardless of all of this, it was just not a priority for New England to re-sign him. We have other things on our offense now. We have a new quarterback. We have some new young receivers we drafted. We're rebuilding. And pieces like Ezekiel Elliott are just not that important to us right now. Now, one last football story is somewhat related to the Patriots. On Sunday, Tom Brady is going to be roasted live on Netflix. It is called the Greatest Roast of All Time, a play on the Greatest of All Time nickname Tom has. And some of the featured roasters will be former New England Patriots, including Randy Moss, Julian Edelman, Drew Bledsoe, Rob Gronkowski, Bill Belichick, and others. It will be hosted by Kevin Hart, and other roasters will include Jeff Ross, the comedian who is known as the Roast Master, and possibly Ben Affleck. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with these roasts, They're kind of, bottom of the barrel kind of humor, but they are very fascinating to me, even if not always funny. So the fact that all these former Patriots will be involved is really a nice combination of two of my interests, I obviously love Boston sports, but I also find show business very fascinating, so this really has my attention. I'm most excited to hear what Bill Belichick and Drew Bledsoe will say to Tom to roast him. I'm predicting Belichick will do a very football-oriented roast. He'll talk about specific plays, ways that Tom screwed up on the field, and that'll be funny. I think Bill has a very dry delivery of his humor. During his press conference when he and Robert Kraft announced a mutual parting of ways, he opened with the joke about how he had not seen that many cameras since the Patriots signed Tim Tebow. And that was pretty funny, especially considering the fact he was announcing he was basically being fired. So in this situation, he should be even better. And Drew Bledsoe obviously was the Patriots quarterback before Tom Brady, and it was his injury that led to Tom taking the starting position. In a sense, I think this is a chance for Drew Bledsoe to let out some steam about Tom and his success. So yeah, I'm really intrigued by what this evening will be like. It's certainly a interesting move by both Netflix and Tom Brady. This whole thing is a part of a big Netflix comedy festival happening now in Los Angeles, and the roast will be broadcast live from the Hollywood Bowl, which in my opinion is a pretty weird venue for a roast. When you think of the Hollywood Bowl, you think of, maybe higher class comedy, not roast comedy. You think of great musical artists performing. You don't think of a roast featuring Jeff Ross, but we live in a strange era where strange things happen. I'm also excited to see how Tom Brady responds to his roasters. I think he's very competitive, so hopefully he's cooked up some funny stuff. For better or for worse, this roast will really be something. Now a quick Red Sox update. This past weekend, they won a series against the Chicago Cubs 2-1, with a wonderful 17-0 victory on Saturday. And this week they also won a series against the San Francisco Giants 2-1. So that's good stuff right there. And this weekend they have a series against the Minnesota Twins. They'll be playing in Minnesota. And the Twins have a similar record to us, so hopefully it will be a chance for some more wins. Now, I have not watched much baseball the past 2 weeks, so I hope to catch the Sunday afternoon game against the Twins. They also made some moves through trade this past week. Last weekend, they traded for first baseman Garrett Cooper from the Chicago Cubs while they were playing the Cubs, which I think is really funny. He will fill in the gap caused by Tristan Casas' injury. Tristan is now on the 60-day injured list, and he cannot play until mid-June at least. They also acquired a minor league pitcher named Bailey Horn from the Chicago White Sox. He has a powerful fastball, but he is inconsistent. So hopefully in the minor league he can develop his skills, become more consistent. He is definitely going to be a guy to watch. And now, Assorted Awesome. The part of the show where I talk about something that is 100% awesome with no caveats. Last Sunday, singer-songwriter and New England native Noah Kahan threw out the ceremonial first pitch at Fenway before our game against the Cubs. His pitch did not quite make it to home plate, and as soon as he threw the ball, he knew it. His reaction is really funny. He actually buried his face in his glove because he was so embarrassed, in a funny way. The video's online if you want to watch it. Now, I have to say I'm a fan of Noah. He's from the same part of northern New England as my family. It's called the Upper Valley of New Hampshire and Vermont. He's from Stratford, Vermont. My family is originally from Hanover, New Hampshire. And had we stayed in New Hampshire and not moved south, I would have gone to the same high school as him. It's a very small area, and a lot of small towns share the same high school. And I can always win the Kevin Bacon degrees of separation game with using him as an example because I have several mutual friends and acquaintances from that area. I also just think he's a very talented guy. He has some really great songs. Last year, he really blew up and received the recognition he deserves. And I have to give credit to my sister Lily for getting into his music before he made it big. She shared some of his music with me, and I really liked his song Northern Attitude, but I have to admit, I did not give much of his music a look until after he blew up last summer. And actually, kind of a cool connection is that we were in Boston last summer, my family, and we're at a small bodega-type market, and we heard one of his songs on the radio, so we were in New England as he was sort of blowing up into the mainstream. I think the song was Dial Drunk, but I'm not sure. Now, cheers to you, Noah. Thank you for representing the Upper Valley and Red Sox Nation so well. I wish you more success in the years to come. That is about all I have for this episode of Sports Chowder with me, Sam Stebbins. You can follow me on X at Stebbins Tweets. You can follow the show at sports_chowder. You can follow the show on Instagram at sportschowder, and you can like the show on Facebook. As a reminder, you can listen to this show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Amazon Music. Thank you all so much for listening. I will return next week.